the vocal delivery had that lounge singer quality, um, which made it different and stand out. It also reminded me, and you'll hate me saying this, but like a little bit of some of like Morrissey delivery as
Oh,
well.
it wouldn't piss me
Um,
off. I'm sitting here waiting for you to say Morrissey this time.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Audiophiles. My name's John. His name's Andy. That's for sure.
That was great.
Thank you. Well, with so much drama in the LBC, it's kind of hard being Snoop D O double G, but I somehow, some way, keep coming up with funky ass shit like every single day. More on that later. But first, Comrade Andy, you've got a track for us all to listen to.
I
Now, the
do.
folks out there have an advantage. They've seen the title. I like that blonde bird. It's clueless. So tell me, what have you got for me?
Um, Man, that's really weird that you cited that film. I have a track by a band called Smoking Popes. Are you familiar with Smoking Popes?
No,
Okay, excellent. Well, the track is called Need You Around, and it's interesting again that you mentioned Clueless, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So, go.
really.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I was thinking. Took the wind out of my fucking sails.
should
So
do the. I'm just going to do the lottery. Bear with me a second.
um, so yeah, go off and give Need You Around by Smoking Popes a listen, and then come back and please let me know what you think.
Will do. Hold on a minute. That start. Katrina and the waves, walking on sunshine. Hilarious. It clearly isn't.
If I could see into your heart, then would I know just where
Wow. Oh dear. So we get this start, and it's I hate the phrase, but it's sort of pop punk. I don't know. Stuff from the 90s where they just put fuzzy filters on everything. I mean, if you strip back the effects, this could be a sort of indie song quite easily. Um, I like the fact that it's just all strumming, just chords, and just the chord changes sort of progress it, the bass helping along. Um, I find that sort of style very immediate, and it's just flowing. I like it. And then your man starts singing, and wow, it's this kind of crooner um, delivery. Um, I mean, my very first thought was kind of Richard Cheese, lounge singer. Scrub that. But yeah, it's got a different quality. It's not what I was expecting at all. And he's kind of like half the speed the way he's delivering it, and it's very smooth. That's a real surprise. I swear to God, I thought he was going to start singing "Dream the Impossible Dream." That's really interesting. Okay, let's see how it goes.
'Cause I'm lost and I need to be found. Crazy as it sounds, I need you around. If I could stand to be on my own, then I would probably just leave you alone. But I'm gonna feel this way till I'm 6 feet underground. Crazy as it sounds, I need you around. Turning, tossing and turning, my love is burning me down. If I could change.
I guess that was what you would call a bridge in this song. I have to say though, his delivery, his vocal melody, it really makes all the chord changes that they're strumming along quite happily behind makes sense, and that fits together actually really well. There is a sort of tinge of humor to this as well. They kind of, I think they know what they're doing is a bit off center. But I like it actually. It's starting to win me over.
One thing in this world, I'd change your mind and make you my girl. Because I'm lost and I need to be found. Crazy as it sounds, I need you around. I'm gonna feel this way till I'm 6 feet underground. Crazy as it sounds, I need you around. I need you around. I need you around. I need you around.
Probably enjoyed that more than I should have done actually. The music was fairly similar. It's just sort of like chugging along, really immediate and enjoyable. But it's his delivery which sort of makes the difference in this song. And I had that, even that sort of old fashioned quality. It says something about one day I'll make you my girl, and crazy as it sounds, I need you around. It's yeah, yeah. It's like Andy Williams dialed down to 2.5. I couldn't get to Dream the Impossible Dream out of my head when I was listening to that. Um, there's also, in the way he delivered it, not the tone of his voice, but there's a smattering of Morrissey as well, which I guess, early Morrissey, I guess he would have got from like Sinatra or something. Yeah, this is really enjoyable. The song's like fairly simple musically. They did a great job, don't get me wrong, it's catchy. Um, but yeah, it's his vocals that make the difference and make it interesting, definitely. Well, we'll have to find out more about Smoking Popes. There's only one way to do that. Let's go back and chop it up with Andy.
All right. You're back from the smoke-filled Vatican. What did you make of the smoking popes?
Is that when they put them on the pyre?
Yeah. When they make
That
the announcement or whatever. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
white smoke is the previous pope.
Yeah.
Um, fair enough. Yeah, so song starts with this sort of up tempo drum beat, and I don't suppose you'd know this, but it is exactly like, I mean, exactly like, and it can't be this is where it emanated from, but it just reminded me straight away of Katrina and the Waves walking on sunshine,
Oh,
which made me, it's exactly the same start and drum beat. It's really funny. Now, I don't think they created it. They probably caught it from, no, I don't know, Motown song or whatever, but it just made me smile. But instead of the infectious brass I was anticipating, we can get instead get this fuzzy chug of sort of 90s, and I hesitate to use the phrase, but I suppose it's appropriate, pop punk. I really don't like that term at all.
yeah, yeah.
Um, it's like saying straight bendy or whatever. It was just, but anyway. Um, so interesting enough, though, I'm taking it's 90s because it kind of feels and sounds that way. And it's that time when everything had to have that sort of scuzzy tinge to it. If you stripped away all the effects from the guitars, you would have quite a nice 80s indies tune, guitar tune quite
Oh,
easily.
yeah.
But but it's all furious chord strumming, which is a kind of brand of indie stroke alt music, which I have a bit of a weakness for.
Yeah.
Um, and so the melody shifts like somebody leaning from one leg to another, with the chord changes every couple of bars. Sometimes it's one bar, sometimes 2 bars, just to keep you guessing, but not really. And it's helped along each time the changes by the shift in the bass as well, which again, it feels like it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Here we go, another bit here, sort of thing. And it's the polar opposite of those spiky, angular indie tracks that I quite like as well. So, but yeah, this flows along. Because it's just like chord strumming all the way through and there's no sort of pick notes, it has a smoothness to it. And it flows like a torrent of overflowing rainwater running through runoff channels. Now it's going only one way, but there's no way you can stop it. So it's really simple, but this nature, for me anyway, it's really immediate and very pleasant to my ears. Then the singer begins, and I didn't expect that. Um, his crooner delivery is quite a shock at first.
Yeah.
A seemingly incongruous fit to the music. My very first thought was Richard Cheese, so I wiped that straight from my head because although I did enjoy some of his shit when it came out, but it's terrible, really. But continuing the water analogy, his vocals, is like a broader, deeper, slower river with perhaps a few pedals on it in the shape of giant plastic swans. Um, the music continues to chug, oblivious that Andy Williams, dialed down to 2.5, has joined them. Um, but as he sings, and he's like at half the tempo of the band, as it were, his cadence. But the chord changes aligned with his vocal melody really makes sense, and it just fits so well. But I have to say, I was almost ready to hear him start singing "To Dream the Impossible Dream" because it's kind of like that. It's so funny. It is great. We get a step change around the 2 minute mark, where they sort of stop and start a little bit, and he's singing, tossing and turning and turning and tossing or whatever. And then it's back on track again. He's off again, saying, "If I could change one thing in this world," and I'm still thinking the impossible dream. Um, and then it's even funny. We then get a sort of lackadaisical dozen note guitar solo. It really feels like, do I have to? But it kind of mimics the vocal melody in a slowed way as well. It's just really nice. And I get the impression the band are almost smirking here, like they're like having fun with themselves as well as the listener. There's a definite sense of humor to this, I think. Unless I'm, badly mistaken and I'm getting my Richard Cheese all confused. But yeah, the singer declares it'll feel the same 6 feet underground. And with a few more sort of crazier sounds, "I Need You Around," we finish. I think the music was decent, nothing exceptional, but really enjoyable, and I could listen to that, all day long. Um, the vocal delivery had that lounge singer quality, um, which made it different and stand out. It also reminded me, and you'll hate me saying this, but like a little bit of some of like Morrissey delivery as
Oh,
well.
it wouldn't piss me
Um,
off. I'm sitting here waiting for you to say Morrissey this time,
which I
because that's
guess, yeah, but I guess Morrissey got that from Sinatra in
yeah,
terms of that style. So yeah, it all, joins up. And actually, again, if you took away the effects of the guitar, you would have an 80s indie song with a
yeah.
bit of early Morrissey before he got too overblown, sort of semi-crooning stuff. So yeah, it all fits perfectly, and it won me over. And I probably enjoyed this a lot more than I should have done, but I really did.
I'm glad. I'm glad you liked it, and I had a haunting suspicion you might, and I'm glad that you picked out because one of the things that I was like, John's pretty observant about this kind of stuff. At some point, he's probably going to allude to Morrissey, which I was hoping you would do. So yeah, you got there the
Glad
long
to
run.
be predictable.
Yeah, you kept glad it paid off. So yeah, Smoking Popes, they're an American pop punk band from northwest suburbs of Chicago. They're composed of brothers Matt Caterer on bass, Josh Caterer lead vocals and guitar, and Eli Caterer guitar and backing vocals, and Mike Falumley on drums. In 1990, the Caterer brothers formed a punk trio called Speed Stick with Josh on vocals and guitar, Eli on bass, and Matt on drums. And they played one gig in a friend's basement, after which the Caterer parents decided that Eli, then a sophomore in high school, would have to quit the band until after he graduated. So Matt, so that caused a shakeup. Matt had to switch to bass, and then Dave Martins joined the band on drums to fill that gap. And that summer, at their first self funded recording session, the trio recorded about 15 original songs composed by Josh, some of which would form the basis of the Smoking Popes' early material. They played a handful of local shows over the next year, and in the summer of '91, they changed the band names to Smoking Popes, inspired by one of the Caterer brothers' favorite movies, The Pope of Greenwich Village. Soon after that,
Oh,
yeah. Soon after that,
Mickey Rooney.
Martins left the band, and the Caterer brothers recruited Mike Falumley to replace him on the drums. After 1991, the band released their EP called Inoculator with the help from local indie label Radius Records. And in early 1992, the band self-released a four-song EP called The Smoking Popes Break Up, recorded by Philip Bonnet, which is an interesting name for your debut recording. Uh, that summer, Eli rejoined the band on guitar, and they self-released another EP called Two. They continued to play shows in the small venues around the Midwest. And in 1993, the band got a break when pop punk icon Ben Weasel of Screeching Weasel became a fan and used his connections to recruit Giorgini of Squirt Gun to record the Smoking Popes' first full-length album, Get Fired. And in early 1994, the band resumed their partnership with Phil Bonnet and began recording their second LP called Born to Quit, which included the song Need You Around, which would later launch Smoking Popes to a huge audience via the soundtrack of the film Clueless. So that is why I was so surprised or taken aback. I was like, wait a minute, did he go around and do some homework of his own? Because yeah, that's so wildly coincidental. But yeah, there you have it. Another break for the Popes came in the summer of '94 when they were invited to open for Green Day, who extended the invitation after hearing Get Fired. Later that summer, their new album, Born to Quit, was released. And after Need You Around took off on alternative radio, they gained the attention of major record label scouts. They signed with Capitol Records, which re-released Born to Quit. And in 1996, the Clueless soundtrack was released in Finland, and Need You Around was dropped as a single to capitalize on their newfound popularity there. It was promptly designated Single of the Week by the New Musical Express. They toured England and Scotland for a couple weeks and then returned to America to tour with Jawbreaker. Despite the touring, album sales didn't meet Capitol's expectations, and it became clear that the band had to deliver a hit. Producer Jerry Flynn, who had added gloss to the sound of Green Day and Rancid, was brought in to do the same for Smoking Popes. In September, they toured with the label mates The Figs and Jimmy Eat World. And in the start of 1997 brought dissatisfied label executives who insisted the Smoking Popes submit a new album. The band spent 6 days writing and demoing songs until Capitol finally determined that new song I Know You Love Me had potential. However, the label fired the Popes and A&R representative, and the new album was shelved. After negotiations, Destination Failure was released in August. At this point, Tom Daly joined the band as a touring guitarist. In October, they began to tour with Morrissey, who said of their earlier album, Born to Quit, "It's extraordinary, the most lovable thing I've heard in years." So, rare accolades about someone else for Morrissey and not himself. Impressive. Around this time, Josh became very involved in Christianity and wanted to devote his work to his faith. The label rejected the new album and released Smoking Popes from their contract. The band played several large shows before Josh quit, effectively breaking up the band. In a later interview, Josh commented about this time: "I became a Christian in May of 98, and I quit the Popes in January 99. I tried to incorporate my faith into what we were doing in the Popes, but it didn't seem to be a good fit." It's just an interesting sentence. I tried to inject my faith into the Popes. It's like, what? So Josh's side project, Duval, was formed in August 2001, including members of Smoking Popes, who had disbanded in 1998. Founding members were Josh Caterer and Mike Flumley, and the band released one full-length album, Volume and Destiny, in 2003. Then in November of 2005, Smoking Popes reunited for a packed and much-anticipated show at the Chicago club The Metro, with Rob Kellenberger of Colossal replacing Falumley on drums, and the tickets sold out in a mere 36 minutes. They embarked on a U.S. tour in early 2006 with Bayside. During that time, the Popes acquired new drummer Ryan Chavez. They're going through drummers here, who replaced Kellenberger. During this tour, Josh introduced and played several new songs, which he announced would be on the upcoming Smoking Popes new album. On March 2nd, 2008, the title of the new album, Stay Down, was disclosed when the band played it in its entirety at the Scuba's Tavern in Chicago. The album was released on the independent label Curb Appeal Records. Following in 2010 was a reissue of Get Fired, remastered with new artwork, which was released on CD and vinyl. And the band also got to work on a new album, with fans having the ability to follow the progress on Josh's Twitter page. The album, titled This Is Only a Test, was released on Asian Man Records. And in April 2015, Mike Falumley rejoined the band as Neil Hennessy was relocating to Los Angeles, who was their then drummer. In 2016, the Smoking Popes released the EP Simmer Down, which was the first record since 1998 to feature all the original lineup. On the official Smoking Popes Twitter page, they stated it was released so fans would have new songs people could sing along when they played at the Riot Fest in 2016 in Chicago. The band still continues to perform live to this day. So, returning to this album and the track. Born to Quit was their only release to chart, reaching number 37 on Billboard's Top Heat Seekers chart, partly to the strength of the single Need You Around, which reached number 35 on the Modern Rock Tracks chart. Stephen Thomas Erlewine of AllMusic gave Born to Quit 4.5 stars out of 5, saying that the thing that sets the Smoking Popes apart from the standard 4-piece alternative hard rock outfit is not only their pop sense, it's how the lead vocalist uncannily recalls the quavering, self-absorbed tone of Morrissey. Combined with their gifts for hooks, it makes for a sound that is familiar yet surprisingly distinctive. Forrest Gaddis of Dying Scene would write of the album, "This is an album about young, stupid love, which is why it connects so well. I've always said that the Violent Femmes' first record should be issued to teenagers as a way to navigate what it's like being that age. Born to Quit should be required listening on the same level." I think that's a really good, just because we're both Femmes fans and we know that first album, so that totally checks out. In an article just last week, literally just last week, Sheila Taylor of Amplify the Noise wrote, "Smoking Popes have always occupied a unique space in the punk rock landscape. They have always effortlessly merged the raw energy of punk with crooner's sensibility, and their music has never been just about fast beats and crunchy guitars. There's always been a sense of melody and heart that sets them apart. 2025 will see the band making the 30th anniversary of their of their seminal 1995 album Born to Quit. To celebrate, the band did a live session recording in front of a live audience, and the result is the Born to Quit live session. It's not just a rehash of old tracks, but a vibrant and updated take on the album that first catapulted the band to cult status. It reminds one of why the Smoking Popes still matter today. So yeah, we're coming up here on the 30th anniversary, so all the more reason to get them on the channel. It kind of gave me a little swift kick in the ass here. Let's jump into these lyrics. If I could see in your heart, then I would know just where to start, because I'm lost and I need to be found. Crazy as it sounds, I need you around. If I could stand to be on my own, then I would probably just leave you alone. But I'm going to feel this way till I'm 6 feet underground. Crazy as it sounds, I need you around. Turning, tossing and turning, my love is burning me down. If I could change one thing in this world, I'd change your mind and make you my girl. Because I'm lost and I need to be found. Crazy as it sounds, I need you around. Then that epic 12-second guitar lead or whatever. I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna feel this way till I'm 6 feet underground. Crazy as it sounds, I need you around. I need you around. I need you around. I need you around. So
I
there
would
you are.
say just you reading it out there just emphasized to me because I didn't catch all the lyrics. Weirdly, I think it was just a state of shock or of anything because he delivers it very clearly and well. I should have caught every word. But hearing you read it again, it even sounds old-fashioned the way he's, the words he's choosing.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
making my
I'd make
gal.
you my girl. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That sort of sappy, saccharine, radio friendly as all hell
It's kind of
lyricism.
Happy Days dialogue, isn't
Yeah,
it? Down at
yeah,
the
for
malt
sure.
bar, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, as risque as it gets is like he doesn't even come out and say I'd rather be dead. He comes up with this colloquial way around saying
Yeah,
that by being like I'd rather be 6 feet. It's yes, it's all that stuff. But I think that's part of that with his delivery, this
yeah,
more
yeah,
slash crooner like delivery is the charm of the whole song. Also juxtaposed to a very much more modern at that point take on guitar rock with that style of vocal delivery
yeah.
over top of it. So yeah, your description of experiencing it for the first time and being kind of like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. Totally makes sense. And I think that's why people really
Yeah.
enjoy this song so much. So
And I
yeah.
take it that that is his style through each song.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
That is his style. And it does give them this extra bit of like on top of not being so crunchy and raw like the quote had mentioned, his vocal delivery is kind of this, oh, here's this different quality that makes them
yeah, it's a selling
different
point,
or
isn't
stand
it?
out. Yeah, exactly.
Because
Exactly.
I would say, without trying to be too sort of disrespectful, a lot of stuff that came out at that time had that blueprint to this sort of what you call pop punk, put a few bit of distortion on the guitars, da 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 da, and it then sort of merged into it was all like skater punk, and it's
Yeah.
very very similar. There was a
Yep.
lot of music that became you were very hard to distinguish between them, and this would definitely set you apart.
Yeah, yeah. And there's also this difference between like that allusion earlier to the producer who would put a little bit of gloss on the earliest versions of these bands that sort of came out mid 90s
Yeah,
and just to take the edges off. That was good and welcome. But what it evolved, the monster that it became of this overproducing a genre that was born of a genre who would hate the idea of overproduction. That's when they jumped the shark with it. It was like,
yeah,
no, this is bubblegum punk, and that shouldn't exist in a world. You
yeah.
know what I mean? So yeah, exactly. It was like what
I could
your
all,
straight zigzag or whatever
yeah, yeah.
allusion, metaphor you made earlier.
I could almost imagine as well at that time in the 90s that this type of vocal wouldn't have gone down particularly well. And I think it's something for the audience, whereas I think more modern day audiences probably would love this more. I
Mm,
think people were kind of sold this is how it should sound, a little bit angry, a bit street, whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
you get
Maybe you're right.
this, and the two blend together, I think makes it really interesting. But perhaps it wasn't, people weren't quite ready for that.
Yeah, it doesn't. I think the mindset and the culture of Generation X at this point was over the Morrissey type sound of vocalists at that point. And you're right, they wanted, angry middle class, white teenager type, with grit, a little bit going on there and anger. And this didn't have that. So maybe on one track in the right, the
As a
right, everything
novelty.
coming together, it's perfect. But a whole album of that would be like, no, this is not what I want. I want the disassociated Billy Joe Armstrong, who sounds nasally and like, oh, I don't give a fuck on, Green Day or something like that, that versus, or Cobain's voice or any of these other guys that were coming out and getting popular this time. So, yeah,
And
makes
the,
sense.
and the crooner sort of revival thing didn't happen for about, almost, to the end of the 90s, beginning of the noughties,
Yeah,
with your Paul Anka and people like that coming back in, and that sort of smooth sound, which became
yeah,
popular again for a while.
yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, interesting conversation. Yeah, I'm glad you liked this one, even if it surprised you that you
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a great little song. I like putting it on every now and again, and it takes me back to the 90s and my, preteen, early teenage years when, this is how I felt about girls. So thanks so much for giving this a listen. Everybody out there in the listening audience, please let us know what you thought of Smoking Popes, Need You Around. If it reminded you of anything else, or there's other tracks we should check out by these guys or anyone else, please just use the comment field. We really do appreciate it. Also, like, share, and subscribe if you be so inclined. We really do appreciate that as well. Helps us drum up the numbers over here at the channel and get us out to more people and more people's suggestions and opinions back to us. So it's all quite symbiotic, and we do appreciate that. Hopefully, John and I will see all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. See you later, guys.